Great morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us again on our podcast. I'm joined by here Ricardo Acevedo.
Hey guys, thanks for checking in as usual.
Absolutely. So today's topic is probably one of the bigger topics we've tackled, and I'm excited for it. And I'm hoping we can get it in that 20-minute frame that we normally go for.
Sure.
And it's something that you said to me a while ago, and I kid you not, I've probably used it multiple times now. I used it in a conversation yesterday.
Got it.
And you said something along the lines of, when you move with love, when you talk with love, when you walk with love, you have God's like natural power behind you, right? Like things happen that happen in a blessing, and you've also said to me like when you are a blessing, you are blessed. It kind of connects with that idea.
Yeah.
And man, like I think it ties to so much. It really does. And every conversation I have with it, it ends up from a 1-minute conversation in my mind to like a 30-minute conversation because it's such a powerful line.
Yeah.
And I was hoping you can elaborate on it because you were telling me that that's not something that you were doing all the time. Like that's not something that you practiced on a regular basis before.
Correct.
Could you walk me through that?
Well, it wasn't practice because it wasn't something that I was taught. Obviously at my upcoming when I was raised, my parents and obviously my environment, not understanding, right? Obviously using more force versus power. And when you say about the topic, which is love, I see it more from some of those books that I've learned a lot from, and one of them brings to my mind is right away it's power versus force.
Yes.
Are we forcing things, or are we allowing the power of the nature of love and commitment and passion for what we do or for that moment or situation that drives us through naturally and fluently versus putting force and friction towards doing something that is not going to give you the same outcome that if you were to do it with love and passion for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things that it brings me and ties me back to that book a whole lot, because even when we're on those moments where you're trying to resolve something and then either you're going to try to force the fact to try to do it, or you allow obviously the power of love to get you through that moment based on having more understanding, more care, and more love to be able to resolve the matter with a better outcome.
I really want to elaborate on that power versus force because I've done it a couple of times, and I think you could probably do even a better job than I do. So it's like, first of all, I think it's by Murphy, right?
Yes.
Okay, incredible book, by the way, for all the audience. Power versus force.
I don't think it's Murphy. It's a different
different author.
Yes,
okay,
a
cool.
different author.
But I know I'll drop it on the comments below. But
Okay.
Power versus force. I know it's a powerful
power
book.
versus force.
So it's like, I'm trying to give like a visual here for the audience, and maybe you let me know if I'm wrong or right
Sure.
here. It's like, okay, imagine like a heavy block in front of you, and as a man or a woman, you're trying to push it. You're forcing your way through. You're forcing. You're gonna burn out.
Yeah.
Right? Because you only have so much energy to go with.
Correct.
Whereas like, I guess power is like, what is it like? Is it like kind of like having like a supernatural power helping you push it essentially? Like, is there like, it's like a conviction almost, or where you don't burn out?
It's the belief in the nature behind it, where you're not forcing the fact, but you're basically just going through the motion based on the faith and belief that you have that you're able to do that or accomplish that without really having to push yourself out of your limits to be able to actually accomplish it.
Because it's more sustainable.
Yes.
Right? Because like
it allows you to ride obviously for a long period of time versus you burning out along the way.
Absolutely.
Because you were using a lot of force and not just the natural power that it's within you.
Yeah, I like the concept. It's like I asked a friend of mine when we were talking about power versus force, and I said, well, what would you rather have? Would you rather be forcing your way through something, or would you have to have the power to break through it?
Right.
He's like, well, obviously I'd rather have the power to break through it.
That's strong there.
That's right. Like it's like an easy visual way to looking at
Yeah.
it. So are you telling me that when you walk with love, when you move with love, that you have the power? Is that what it is?
Absolutely. I mean, even let's say we put an example, let's say even in business, right? A lot of people has asked me after 16 or 17 years of doing that, Ricardo, what moves you to continue to do this? And it's the faith and the passion and with the love that I do what I do versus forcing.
Whoa, huge.
A lot of people I used to hear a lot of people say Ricardo will burn out at some point.
Yeah.
Because they would see the force, obviously power, force on my side on how I conducted business, how I was so committed, so dedicated to the business that a lot of people would actually say that I was going to burn out.
Yeah.
And they used to say, and I used to hear him out, hey, watch him. He's going to end up burning out.
Yeah.
But they didn't understand that there was something bigger moving me,
to drive you, the power
that drove me, which was love, which was passion for what I was doing, that I still do nowadays, that I haven't burned out, because I continue to find the love and the passion on what we do to continue to move us every single day. More understanding as to where it comes from, how I can feed it so that I can keep that love and that passion and that commitment to what we do for more years to come, without having to burn out, because we're not forcing it. It's obviously a power that comes from commitment, love, and faith for what we do, and for what our vision and our dreams and our goals are for what we're doing, and for the purpose that we're doing it for.
Watch this. Holy cow. Like you were saying, this, like, I got this huge epiphany. So it's like, we talked, you hear about this all the time, like you were saying with your job, right? Like, oh, well, he's going to burn out. Like, you know, or you've heard people say this also, I feel burned out on my job.
Right.
That's because you don't love it.
Exactly.
You're not moving with love because you don't love your job.
Because you don't have any passion or commitment or dedication to what you're doing.
Take another application. You can apply this to almost anything, by the way. Relationship. I'm in a relationship. Oh, I don't, you know, there's nothing between us anymore. There's no fun anymore. Because you don't love her.
Exactly.
Or you don't love each other. You're not moving with love. You don't have intention of love.
You probably went into the relationship with love, but you lost love along the way.
You stopped practicing it. You stopped moving with it. You stopped walking with it.
Yes.
Because if you do that on a daily basis, right,
you're
not going to fall out of love.
No, because you find a way to continue to pour into that, where that obviously love continues to grow, and it continues to keep you engaged and obviously committed and in the process, because the love continues to grow and the commitment continues to grow.
Because if you try to force it, you're gonna burn out. It's just not sustainable.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm in an unhappy relationship and I'm gonna keep trying to force my way to be in it, right? Or honestly, you can apply this to almost anything. Imagine the gym, right? I'm forcing to go myself at the gym every day because you don't love the process. If you don't love the process, guess what's going to happen?
You're going to burn out, like we talked about.
And you're going to lose the habit of going to the gym. You're just going to stop one day.
Yeah.
And I understand, because you don't love it. Exactly. You're not in love with the process. You're not in love with the goal or whatever. You're not walking with love, moving with love.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That can apply to anything. I love that, by the way.
Yeah. It was obviously an example that came up to mind, because it's one of those things that a lot of times I get questioned as to why or how is it. And even my child the other day asked me, hey, Dad, what keeps you engaged and motivated to what you do?
Yeah.
And I said, son, it's the love for what I do.
Yeah.
And the commitment to my mission and to my responsibility in life.
Yeah.
Which is what I love to do and what I love to pour onto others, and what keeps me engaged and committed to what I do.
Yes.
And I fall in love with it every single day more and more.
Wow. And like, I know I don't want to be too religious on this thing, but I'm very spiritual, as you know. And it's like, I'm a big believer that anything that's powerful is touched by God.
Yes.
Right? And like you're saying,
by a higher force, let's say that, right?
There we go. Exactly. A higher force, something in the universe, energy, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly.
Like you're connected to it though.
Correct.
So it's like, when you're like, the simple question I ask people is, okay, if you had the universe's energy behind you, if you had his energy, whatever you believe in, that a higher power behind you, will you fail? And the answer is, of course, no.
No.
How could I?
Yeah.
And like, it sounds like the answer to the equation is simple. When you move with love, when you're connected to love, when you perform your actions with love, you're connected to that energy.
Correct.
How could you fail?
Well, it's something that is pulling you.
Yes.
That force is pulling you forward, right?
Yeah.
Towards that thing that you're trying to do, or through that activity that you're doing.
Yes.
I mean, just go back and think of that moment where you're in pure exchange of love, just a moment, a hug or a moment. Think about how you felt on that moment.
Powerful.
You felt like it was probably the most beautiful moment of your life.
Yes.
Think about that moving you towards something that you're trying to accomplish in life.
Imagine being tapped into that all the time.
That's amazing.
That's where you can accomplish huge things.
Unstoppable, unbreakable, and powerful things generated from it. And therefore, obviously, amazing things would happen.
Holy cow. And I really wanted to get on cam because you were telling me, this was, again, like, this is, people are hearing the Ricardo of today.
Yeah.
But this was not you before.
Well, it wasn't, because I wasn't basically something that I understood.
Yeah.
You know, I was more of the force guy versus power. Force in a lot of areas, and through the process of understanding and reading and understanding the differences. So I believe I was in between both, but not understanding the difference.
Yeah.
until I started picking up books and started digesting information, being more self-aware about certain things that I wasn't aware. That's when I started realizing the personality I had and what changes I needed to make.
Yes.
Where I became more on the more of the power side.
Yes.
Versus the force side, because I wanted to make sure I was able to understand what was the difference.
Yes.
And was able to really obviously pour more into one side, which was the side that I wanted to make sure that I was able to be more impactful in other people's lives, in my family, my relationship with my kids, my wife, our business, our associates, our agents, and just overall with society and in our community.
I want to touch the audience, because I'm sure there's some people that are listening, including myself. I mean, I can resonate with this, where I was forcing things.
Yes.
And when I've made the switch now, thanks to this podcast and my reading and so forth, where I feel more powerful now. Like, I kid you not, I joke about it, like, work seems easy to me now.
Right.
And not because it's easy, but because I feel more empowered doing it.
Because you have better energy with you. With all the stuff that you're pouring into, you start enjoying life more.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
In all parts of life.
There's more gratitude on you. So anything that you're doing you approach it with love.
Yes.
Therefore, you have the opportunity to enjoy it more.
Yes.
Do a better job at it.
Yes.
Therefore, you have a better outcome. And therefore, you enjoy it even more. Therefore, you become more efficient and more productive on what you do.
I can speak on mine. When I was trying to force, I didn't necessarily hit a wall, but I felt like I was slowing down.
Right.
Like I went from the hare to the tortoise, and I just kept going slower and slower, and I felt stagnant. There was no growth. Right. There was no fulfillment either, particularly. And could you speak on the same on yours? Was that kind of what you were feeling?
Absolutely, because at some point you start asking yourself, where are you going? How far are you going to get in this direction? And if you need to make adjustments to be able to obviously take off on those directions that you want to get, or are you stuck on a certain area? And that's when you start making those adjustments. And obviously, as you're reading and you're doing self-development, it gives you the understanding on what areas you need to make adjustments to be able to tweak it, adjust it, to let you go to that next gear in your life.
Yes. And you're saying one of the solutions, if not probably the greater overarching solution, is choose love, work with love, walk with love, and you'll find that power that'll drive you to your goals.
Absolutely. You will be able to actually move yourself in progress with a lot more efficiency.
Wow.
Than if you were just forcing yourself. Oh, I got to force myself to make 100 calls today.
Yes.
I got to force myself to do this.
Wow.
You start hating the process.
Yes.
And start figuring out a way, how can I enjoy it? How can I actually pour myself into it?
Yes.
Where I actually start enjoying it. I'm doing it with love.
Yes.
Then the outcome is going to be way, way much different.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it has to be a conscious decision also. Like, you have to choose the love. You have to wake up, or whatever you're about to go into, choose it.
Unless you were born with it, because you were born in an environment that's what they taught you at home, and they taught you that environment, that it's already in you.
Yes.
But I believe that probably 99% of us were not.
Yeah.
So at some point we have to be able to again understand, that there's things that we have to improve on our personalities, the way we see life, the way we do life. And obviously, how can we have success is by changing the way we do things, and how do we pour love into what we do in our life to actually hit limits that we didn't think it was even possible in our lives.
Absolutely. And I really want to tie in a little bit what we talked about off camera, because I can speak of my own personal experience on this. And we talked about force, because I feel like there was a moment where I was trying to force things, right?
Yeah.
Force new opportunities, particularly.
Right.
And when I started doing this podcast with you and reading, working on self-development and choosing love, choosing to be connected to that energy.
Yeah.
And I just kind of I haven't been focusing on other opportunities. I've just been focusing on doing what I'm doing, but loving what I'm doing, right? Take care of my clients, take care of making sure this podcast goes out, take care of myself, take care of my physical health, my gym, my nutrition, many other things. Look at this. I think I told you off camera, and I'll eventually have to, I'll tell the audience, but I've had new opportunities opening up now. And it wasn't like I wasn't even forcing it, to be honest. Like they just started presenting themselves to me. And it's like, this is the equation, right? This is the way to do it.
Yeah.
Quit trying to force the opportunity. Because I can speak of my personal experience. When I did, it wasn't working.
Right.
And yet now, when I'm just connected to love, have opportunity.
It's because the way the universe works, and obviously through God and what we believe is, it's the right people is gonna line up in your life.
Yes.
When you're doing things the right way and you're doing them with love, with what you love to do.
Yes.
Doors are going to open up, and you're going to attract the right people into your life. And that's what's happening to you. You're experiencing that. I've been experiencing that. And the more we do, the more we experience it. But that's basically how it works is the universe is going to line the right people in your life.
Yes.
And obviously I know you have a great experience going on right now. And I'm excited for you, but that's basically what I have learned and experienced over this subject, and time and energy is going to line up the right people around you instead of forcing to try to do certain things, instead of just allowing obviously the energy and your activities and the things that you're doing to line you up with the right people along the process.
Wow. And I really want to touch up on something you've said in the previous podcast, and Tim's story, whenever you said this, Tim Story's his story popped up in my head as well.
Got it.
Because he used to be a dishwasher, and look at him now, by the way. If you guys don't know, Tim Story is an incredible pastor, speaks around the world.
Yeah, he's an amazing human being.
Incredible human being. And you said something similar. You said you were doing other work, and it may have not been your calling, but you chose to love the work.
Yes.
Because you knew by choosing to work with love, move with love, talk with love, be connected, it's going to lead to the next path.
Well, that's my story there too, which can tell into obviously another, detailed podcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why I tell people is that doesn't matter what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Do it with love.
Yes.
Do it with intention.
Yes.
And that's going to open up other doors.
Yes.
If I go back to my career, I started at a job where I was making minimum wage.
Yes.
But I was enjoying what I did. I did it to the best of my abilities with love, with good attitude.
Yes.
And that eventually opened up other doors where I had, just so you know, I had guys that were working there for 20, 30 years, their entire life.
Yes.
And were always complaining about what they did. And they were there for 20, 30 years.
Yes.
And comes this kid that was 19 or 20 years old, 18 or so, that was basically there enjoying the job, doing it with good attitude, with love and care for what I was doing. For a few months later, after I was hired, to becoming obviously a manager within these guys that were doing it for 20-something years already.
Yes.
That tells you that, that basically it doesn't matter what you're doing in life. It matters how you do it, with what intention you do it.
Yes.
And if you put passion and love to what you do, whether you don't like it or you like it at the
opportunity
moment,
will
eventually other doors will line up in your life because of the energy and the good attitude that you put towards the things that you do.
Yes. And I think that ties into, again, whatever you believe in, the high energy. If you're connected to that energy, just know that he's got your back. Something's got your back.
Something is going to rise along the way.
So the obvious answer is choosing the love.
Yes.
Because everything else will work out. You'll get, like you were saying, you'll get pulled. You're going to get pulled to new opportunities. And a great example, and I want to put this on my podcast, I have a young friend named Sabrina. Okay, Sabrina is 20 years old, youngest general manager probably in all of LA Fitness right now.
Wow. And
the first lady general manager at her location in Chino. And I'm so proud of her. And I wrote to her a message earlier, and it's because this ties in what we're talking about. She went to work, started off as just a normal sales rep, front desk lady, from then to sales, to then normal manager, to now a general manager, top level at age 20. Incredible, right? And she went to work with love every time. She chose love, even though she used to tell me like, oh, that's not where I want to be.
Right.
She still stuck through it with love. She went to a job with her smile. She would always, help everybody. And she was just very, very well known in that location because your energy is contagious, right?
Correct.
So there were maybe people that were maybe, maybe know more about more experience, may know more about the brand,
right? But
her energy was the most contagious.
Yeah.
You could feel that she loved her job.
Right.
Look at her now.
Yeah. Well, obviously the doors opened up. Yeah. Obviously opportunities, and then just the energy just dragged her, for growth and development along the way.
And I think it's like we talk about practicing love, right? I know it's a weird saying, but think about we work out. We have to, work out our muscles. We have to eat well because we have to practice eating well every time.
Right.
In the same sense, you have to practice love, like you were saying. And I feel like when you practice love, when you choose love on a daily basis, it prepares you for the bigger opportunities anyway. Right. Like imagine, I'm going to use like my family as example. Like I'm going to choose to love my brother every day, my mother, my father, my relatives, so that when I have a significant other or a family, I've already been fine-tuned.
Correct.
And it's almost like I'm attracting those things into my life because I'm more prepared for it.
And you do attract them because obviously that energy is going to attract the right people into your life.
Wow.
You know, based on what you practice,
Yeah.
it's what you're going to attract into your life.
Holy cow. This podcast is incredible, man. Listen, we're 20 minutes in. So I know we have so much more to talk about. Was there any, did you want to wrap?
No, I think we got what I wanted to cover and how much I can cover on it.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Based on my knowledge and on the way I can explain it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times is how you explain it. It determines how much you know about it.
Yes, absolutely.
If you can explain it easy, that means you know a lot about it. And if you cannot explain it easy, that means you still have a lot
to learn more about it. And I think this topic is truly like one of the, it's
so powerful, so deep.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think there's so much more to learn from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, my last comments is just, again, wake up every day, choose love. Ricardo, your story is proof of that.
Yeah.
And I'm in the process of that, and I can also attest to it. And I think if you ask the majority of successful people, not financially, I'm talking about successful people, fulfilled people,
right,
they'll probably tell you the same.
Absolutely, because they're doing everything with purpose and with love.
Powerful. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, hey, hope you guys enjoyed our Bringing Value podcast. Till next time.
Thank you, guys.